think we are all good on this end. Raise that up a little bit. There we go. How is everybody doing in YouTube and chat? Oh, YouTube and Twitch chat, I should say. Missed a word there. How are we all doing?
I am doing great, other than the insane amount of white snow I have outside of my house right now.
Yeah, you guys got pummeled yesterday.
Oh my god, I got a foot. I got a foot of snow yesterday at my house.
Lucas, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. The weather's actually been pretty good here. We were supposed to get pummeled with snow yesterday, and we didn't hardly get anything, and it melted, and yeah, we're doing good here.
It all came over to me in the East Coast.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we got
I saw Mr.
Happy.
Happy. Mr. Happy had a dusting of snow down there and lost his mind. So his little cloud mind was blown by snow.
Yeah,
I guess in that part of New Mexico, they don't get a lot of snow. There is parts of New Mexico that get hammered with snow, though.
Yeah,
so.
the northeast side, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like everything's good on our end. Can you guys hear us? Type 1 if you can hear us in both chats. Just in case, making sure our audio is good. We got 4. I didn't say 4.
She can hear us then.
She can hear us. We got a 1. Perfect. Okay. Beauty. All right.
It's Echo. He hears a lot of voices anyways.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts Recharge Post Show here on Twitch. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, as always, and we got a banger of a show to talk about tonight. What an ending to the show as well. Before we get into all that, let's introduce you to our panel for tonight, because it is extremely light this evening. On what?
Well, I'm still here. It can't be that light. I'm still here.
On the left, we have the one that lives way up there on the east coast of Maine, the inventor of the beacon of the week, the one and only, Ghost Crusader.
Good evening, everybody. What a great charge we had. Hey, the Crusaders football season may be over, but RMP season's heating up. We're on the road to Never Broken. And with the ending to this, man, David Drake at it again.
And on the right, we have the voice of Ignition, the encyclopedia of Rocky Mountain Pro, the one and only, Lucas Bradwell.
Now, we may be light as far as people, but I still weigh more than Curtis Cole. Let's just put that out there. And tonight was heavy hitting on all aspects of professional wrestling. This was a great episode and a little scary at the end.
To be fair, Lucas, you weigh much more than Mr. Irrelevant.
We're calling him Mr. Irrelevant. That's a shot at Brock Purdy, because he doesn't deserve to be called Mr. Irrelevant.
Good point. Yeah, never mind.
That's a very good point. And we also had a walkout tonight, too.
Yeah.
So, a lot of stuff happened in this episode. We'll break it down. Marky is not here tonight. He just left his training and was not able to make it on time tonight. So he apologizes, and he will be back on Thursday.
We're giving him the 10 count. He did not make the count.
No. All right. Before we get into everything, as I always do or have been doing since we've been doing this, if you are live on YouTube, please, if you don't mind, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Make sure you don't miss any live shows that Rocky Mountain Pro puts on, whether it's the Dudes and Belts, whether it's Ignition, or every premiere of Charged that happens every week. You will be notified. And we're actually going to have a little bit of an announcement towards the end of the show that just happened the other day for you guys to cash in on. But we'll wait on that. Let's get right down to the nitty-gritty here. First things first. We had Lockett's action tonight. We had Lola the Adventurer, and I believe the Charge debut of Midnight. What did you think about this one, Lucas?
This was an interesting matchup. We've seen Lola and Midnight before on Ignition. A little bit different dynamic in this one, as we've had Yaden out there. It's always a different dynamic when you've got JK Pop out there in any form. And Midnight didn't seem to be phased at all. Midnight's still dominant, as we've seen Midnight be on Ignition. Midnight continues just to be dominant, putting the Lockheads division on notice. And we saw Lola get counted out thanks to Yaden, and Midnight picks up a victory. Very interesting what's going on here. I wonder what Lola is thinking with Yaden Koyama. You got to think, Coastal, that she's not happy at all with Yaden right now.
I don't think she was comfortable with Yaden coming out in the first place. She has made it very clear that she does not approve of JK Pop's tactics. So why he'd be out there to begin with is, probably news to her. But it is part of the firm, so he's out there. But I'll tell you, on the other hand, we have Midnight and just dominance, and nothing seems to phase Midnight. This is something to watch. Very much so.
Yeah, it looks like she's definitely going to be a dominant force in the Lockheads division.
Something for JC to look at. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think do you think Salem Wolf has his maybe got an eye out for Midnight and what that's going on with her and Bud?
If there's one person that perhaps can overshadow Salem and the Asylum and the mystique and the it factor, it is definitely Midnight. She has done nothing but impress every single time she steps out to that ring. It's been few, but every single time the presence, Lucas, you're there. The presence just must be like, it's either a chill or just ominous over that arena.
There's an aura when she walks into the Wimmer. There's an aura that, it's got people kind of in a stunned silence. They're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. There is something, mystique about her. I think that's a good word. And I think her whole purpose of being here at Rocky Mountain Pro is domination. I really do. I haven't had a chance to get a word out of her, but what I've talked to with Bud, she wants to dominate the Lockheads division, and she certainly has done that so far. Whether or not she can do that with the Asylum, that'll have to be seen.
Tell you what, the only thing I can see for Midnight being an issue with the Asylum is honestly numbers. Because it's definitely not fear and intimidation. Because I don't know what besides a train intimidates Midnight at this point.
All right, just writing down some notes. And it's not just Midnight too. I know she just made her Charged debut. We've been watching her over on Ignition as well. But we can't forget about Rekka, who we're going to be talking about in about 20 minutes time or so. You have Rekka, you have Lilith, who already has a bullseye planted on JC and Salem in the Asylum as it is. And
that's personal. That's not business, though.
And we don't know about Miranda Gordy yet. So we haven't had an update on Miranda.
We still have Skylar Slice as well. So this Lockheads division is a powerful Lockheads division right now.
Yeah, no, and this could be a very entertaining division to watch over the course of 2023 for sure.
Preston, if you go back and watch the Aces Wild review and the Charged after, I actually agree with Yaden Koyama, that's the first time ever, that you are right. And I do believe Lola does deserve a one-on-one title shot. I do. And I agreed to that. And Johnny is my witness.
I think we all agreed to that, as a matter of fact.
Yes, we all agreed. So your point is valid, but has been stated.
Nothing we can do about it from here. We just voice what we see and we give our opinions. That's really about it. Moving on. We go backstage and we find out exactly what Dean has planned for this tag team issue that Rocky Mountain Pro has. Now, we heard somewhat of a format of what this tournament is going to be. But that's why we have guys like Lucas on the show to kind of fill everybody else in on exactly the fine details about this tournament. So, Lucas, if you have everything,
our man on the inside.
Yes.
So
this tournament is not your typical tournament. The point of it is still to win matches in the tournament, but if you lose, you're not eliminated from the tournament. You advance in the tournament because the two teams that don't get a victory by Never Broken or the point system, or however Danger Dean has made it official. Those two teams are going to face each other at Never Broken, and the loser will have to disband. So that things got kicked off tonight with a 5-team tornado match. It was wild. But we've got a 5-team tornado match. The winner will be safe and gets to advance, and so if you win, you're safe. It's a very different set of circumstances than a traditional tag team tournament. And talking to Danger Dean, he brought this upon because of all the chaos that's been going on with the tag team division. There's been this war between the OGs and the Circus, and West Texas Legacy has kind of run roughshod. I think Dean's trying to get a little bit more of a control on this tag team division. So having one less tag team will kind of make it a little easier to get some form of kind of lawful order into the tag team division. So this is why Dean's brought it back, and this is a very unique tournament, Coastal. It's something I don't think I've ever seen something like this where the loser of a tournament gets disbanded.
Yeah, no, I love tag team wrestling. Any of the dudes will tell you that's my thing. I absolutely think tag team wrestling is an art form, and it's a lost art form nowadays. And there are tag teams out there like FTR and other prominent tag teams, and I'll throw JK Pop in that mix too, that are just dominant and understand tag team wrestling. There's a lot of tag teams in Rocky Mountain right now, and I think you're going to see the premier tag teams rise to the top, and you're going to see, unfortunately, one tag team is not going to be around anymore after this. And I guess that's how Danger Dean, we saw him, he got frustrated. He says there's a lot of tag teams around here. We need to thin the herd. And this is how you do it. This is elimination every time you step in the ring. Until you get that W, you are not safe. And for trios and stuff like the OGs who have been successful as singles, this may not be a big deal. But you take guys like your starting lineup, the Kansas Luchas, and those guys, they're tag team wrestling. They're brothers. So they know how to work together. That's what they do. This is do or die in this situation. This is where, again, you are going to see the prominent tag teams rise to the top.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, so the winner of this tournament, or not really winner, but so there's no number one contendership up for grabs here in this tournament. This is just
not from what I understood. I was told by Dean was that this tournament is to determine what team is going to be disbanded and out of the division. Okay. So then I think after we take care of that little bit of business, then we can decide a number one contender later on down the line. But right now, he's wanting to thin the herd, as Coastal put it.
Yeah, this is Survivor. This is do or die, win or get voted off the island. Now,
that's a great analogy. Analogy.
Now, this raises an interesting point. I wonder how much Preston, who's in chat, had to do with this, because it seems like JK Pop has had quite the layoff in between defending and this whole thing getting sorted out, who the number one contenders are. And also, we're getting rid of the tag team, so there's another couple challengers gone. I have a feeling Mr. POS had his hands in this in a little bit.
Well, there was no Isla in this tournament.
I see that as well.
So I wonder if they were safe.
That's interesting. You got to think that President Dean has something planned for La Isla and JK Pop.
Yeah,
you got to think it.
Look at this. One less problem for JK Pop. No complaints. Listen, I got an idea since we don't have number one contenders and the last match ended in sort of a weird way. My thoughts, just as the Crusader, is how about we do it again, but there's a certain stipulation I love in tag team matches. Absolutely love in tag team matches, especially when one of them has a manager that likes to get his hands dirty. How about we put Preston in the shark cage on top of the Wimmer?
Give him the old Jim Cornette treatment?
Absolutely. Let's put him in a shark cage up in the Wimmer.
All right. Well, speaking of this tourney, we had a tornado tag immediately afterwards with the teams of the OGs, represented by Niles Plonquet and Lord Mitchell Taylor. Three Ring Circus with Mr. Happy and Sin Bodhi, I believe. West Texas Legacy, represented by Justice and Taylor. Your starting lineup, represented by Kendrick and Briscoe Crown. And the Kansas Luchas, represented by Angel Del Paz and Bruisador. Why don't you start this one off, Coastal?
Yeah, so this was a very cool tag team match. I really thought it was a great way to kind of introduce this. And let's get them all together and see who can come out on top. You know, right off the bat, Mr. Plonquet apparently had too much of a good time before at dinner, or he was tasting his vineyard samples. I don't know, because he seemed a little bit loopy when he got in the ring, and he immediately got thrown out of there. So he's gone, you know, and this was an interesting match because when you see so many different tag teams get in there and they all work in different ways. And, you know, unfortunately, Mr. Happy is eliminated. He's the clown of 1,004 holds. Not one of them helped him get out of this mess because he was second eliminated out of there. You know, we get everybody working down, and then we think Ryan Justice is eliminated at one point. He is not, because he is inserting himself at the end, in which we thought, wait, wasn't he eliminated? This seems sketchy, but everything about the West Texas Legacy is sketchy. Ryan cannot hold on to the end, and we get down to the end, and we have Justin Taylor and Sin Bodhi. We have a young Justin Taylor, the super veteran Sin Bodhi. We have very technically sound psychological games. It's quite a yin and yang here, and we see them go back and forth, and I have to admit this. As much as I am not a fan of the West Texas Legacy, Justin Taylor uses his brain and shows a very creative and very technical way to win this match. He gets a move reversed. Unfortunately for Sin Bodhi, his shoulders are pinned to the ground. Justin Taylor is on top of him, and the West Texas Legacy walk out of here with a win, and they ain't breaking up. Wow. Lucas, out of this match, who do you think has the most to worry about when it comes to this tag team tournament?
Well, so going into this, I would have actually thought the OGs were probably the safest bet to still be a team. But from what I saw tonight I don't know what Niles Plonquet was thinking. You know, he was either having a wine tasting thing before the show. I don't know what's going on, but he's obviously not taking this seriously. Because to go into that and be half plastered or maybe full plastered, because obviously he took a dive right away. It's not looking good for those guys. We've seen a little bit of a disconnect maybe between Derek Stone and Niles Plonquet and Lord Mitchell Taylor at times. This isn't looking good for them. I would also kind of be a little bit worried if I was the Three Ring Circus. It was a little bit of an interesting strategy to put Sin Bodhi in replace of Monster 9, who Monster 9 has a lot more experience teaming with Mr. Happy, where Sin Bodhi is more of has more of an experience of being a singles guy. So it was a little bit of an interesting decision there. Those are the two teams that I'm a little bit worried about. I think your starting lineup, I know that they weren't successful, but they've been on a roll on Ignition. I think they're a hot team, so I'm not too worried about them. And the Kansas Luchas, they've been teaming for a long time. I think they're going to be okay. So the two teams I would say are the OGs and the Three Ring Circus. Those are the two teams I would be most worried about disbanding.
You know, I agree with you with the OGs. I do, because I see those guys as very singular guys, and they really have never gelled as a team. From what I've seen here in Rocky Mountain Pro. The Circus, I think when Happy and Nine get in there together, because I know this is going to be a series of matches somehow, I think they're going to straighten it out when they get back in there. I think this might have been a matter of Simbodi maybe saying, hey, let me take the lead, let me get in there. And maybe this is something they needed early on in a tournament like this as a wake-up call to, hey, we need to play to our strengths. So I wouldn't count the Three Ring Circus out, but I certainly agree with you that the OGs are in trouble.
Especially if Niles Planquet shows up to the arena in that condition.
Yeah, he needs to lay off the wine and cheese plates before he shows up to the Wimmer.
Agreed. Lucas, I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit again. We had the law office segment on Marty Casaus with Preston. Have you heard anything backstage? Has anybody spilled the beans to you about anything about Marty's issues?
Yeah, well, so unfortunately, you know, this is usually my forte. I can usually get to the bottom of things. Preston has really, and to his credit, he's doing what a good lawyer does, and he's keeping things hush-hush. And he's done a good job of kind of burying whatever's going on with Marty. No one's been really able to talk to Marty at all. No one in the locker room, even some of his people that used to be his best friends, you know, guys like Dak Draper and Sledge, and none of them know what's really going on. I've tried to, you know, contact some of his people. I've even tried to reach out to him on Twitch. I haven't gotten anything out of him. Something doesn't smell right, though. I don't know if this is injury related. I think this is him making a play of some kind. We know what kind of shady things that him and Preston can get up to and what they're capable of. I think there's a play to be made somewhere. I just haven't figured out what it is yet. But I don't think that it's a legit injury. It could be. I'm not saying that it's a complete fake, but I'm saying there's more to it than what Preston is telling us.
You know, Lucas, I 100% agree with you. When I heard this, I immediately thought of excuses, and I immediately thought, man, Preston must work for the law offices of BS, red herring, and complete and utter crap, because everything he's spewing out just tells me Marty doesn't have a statement, because Marty is not willing to say what he really is. I believe he was not ready for Remy at Aces Wild. If he's hurt, there's a difference. I'm an ex-athlete. There's a difference between being hurt and being injured. Being hurt is you go out and you still give it all because you have that intestinal fortitude to do it. Being injured is when they do not clear you to wrestle. And I'm really starting to wonder if Marty was hurt or injured, and this might be a crutch.
Well, the one thing I can tell you is he has not been examined by any medical officials that are tied to Rocky Mountain Pro. So if this was an independent doctor or independent, they haven't contacted Rocky Mountain Pro. Let's just put that out there.
Well, you have the lawyer in chat right now. Why don't everybody in the RMP faithful start picking his brain?
Hey, Preston, you know what?
Well, he's calling it slander, which it's not slander because
you clear this up just by having your physician make a statement. Whoever examined Marty and said he wasn't cleared, have them sign the thing that said he's not cleared.
All right. We'll wait for him to respond to that one. Moving on here.
Yeah, Sunkissed Orange. How you doing?
We have Dr. Dread backstage.
You mean Kevorkian?
Yeah, and I have a funny feeling that we're going to be hearing a lot of Dr. Dread over the coming weeks. I have a funny feeling Brew is going to have a little bit of revenge once he gets himself straightened up and somewhat medically cleared to be able to continue, because it didn't look good last week to begin with. And it didn't help the situation when Dr. Dread did what he did to Brew and basically jumped him. So, what are your thoughts on Dr. Dread's diagnosis, or the upcoming diagnosis on Brew? South Coastal.
So, he is a very interesting doctor. I'll compare him to Kevorkian because, wow, he has some interesting ways to anesthetize people. I understand that there are certain medical procedures you can do this non-violently, Mr. Dread. You don't have to choke them with your stethoscope. He said he did a mental examination, but you need to do a mental examination on your own self. I have a feeling there's a very, very angry buffalo coming at you, and unless you're a veterinarian, you're not going to understand how to handle him. He's an animal, and he's going to try and rip your entire head off. And honestly, I'm normally unbiased, but I really hope that he succeeds, because what you did, sir, was uncalled for. This is a guy that is coming back after an injury that could have threatened his entire career. And should he have come back? Well, let's let a qualified medical physician decide that. Not you, sir. Not you that jumps people when they're obviously hurt, when they're trying to help people. No, your idea of medicine is disgusting. And I hope Brew gets the help he needs, because honestly, since the Damon Ace match, I've been a little worried that this is not healing the way it should. It seems like every bump he takes, it gets worse and worse and worse. And I want to see Brew 100% in life, not necessarily 100% in the ring. And I hope that he can recover from this, and I hope he gets his revenge on Nurse Dread. Lucas, you know Brew better than most of us. Have you talked to him since this? Do you have an understanding of what's going on?
Yeah. Well, you guys know, Brew's like my kid brother who just happens to be way bigger than me, but he's like my kid brother. And
he's your little big brother.
Yes. And so he sometimes doesn't like to listen to me when I try to tell him things. But on this particular instance, I told him, look, you've got to do what you've got to do. And if you feel that you can go back in that ring and kick the crap out of the doctor or the nurse or whatever the hell he thinks he is, Nurse Dreddy, Nurse Betty, whatever, he's got to do what he's got to do. You can't let someone get away with what they did. And I know that even if I tried to talk Brew out of it, it wouldn't work. So I just told him, look, if you're feeling good, and he says he is, he said he's recovering, he's feeling better. He hasn't had any episodes where he collapsed or anything like that recently. So I'm hoping that we don't see any of that, because if we continue to see what we've seen a couple times in the ring where he just collapses, then we might have to step in as a collective unit in Rocky Mountain Pro and say no. But Dread Roberts has kind of pushed him into a corner, and you know how it is, guys. You get pushed into a corner and like that, and you got to do what you got to do. And yep, you got to fight, and that's Brew is a fighter. Brew is a warrior. He's going to do what he's got to do, and yeah, if I was Dread Roberts, I wouldn't want any piece of the Buffalo right now.
All right, we move on. Lucas, Rekka versus Sergey.
Yes.
Explain this one.
So for those who aren't familiar with Rekka Tahaka, she's known as the Samoan Savage.
Beast.
She is a beast. Absolutely. She is as violent of an individual as you will see, man or woman. There, she is ruthless, absolutely ruthless, and she wants to make a statement here at Rocky Mountain Pro. She's going to do that with Manny Lemons at her side, and she calls out anybody from the Rocky Mountain Pro roster because she wants to make a statement saying that kind of cutting down the roster, basically saying that they're not worthy of her. There's no one that is capable of being at her level. So she calls out somebody from the Rocky Mountain Pro roster. Well, who answers that call but Sergey? Sergey showing a little pride in Rocky Mountain Pro. And, Sergey, I'm not sure he was quite prepared for what he was walking into. I don't think he knew exactly how dangerous Rekha Tahaka is. I'm wondering if maybe he took her a little lightly because she is a female, but she's as ruthless as anybody we've seen here at Rocky Mountain Pro, and Coastal, she did kind of what we expected to do. She was physically dominant, but then of course Manny Lemons gets involved, and but he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
He absolutely did, and props to the ref for understanding that. Rekha is scary. Sergey came out, and I agree. I don't know if Sergey understood what he was getting into. I think he might have thought this might have been, a friendly, hey, let's have a fun wrestling match here, comrade. And he got taken to the woodshed by Rekha. Rekha is one of the most violent women I have seen in this Loch S division since Rochelle Riveter back a few years ago, and she definitely can bring the wood when she hits you. She definitely wears the pants, the shirt, the tie, the jacket, the hat in her relationship with Manny Lemons. There is no doubt in my mind there. Sergey, I give you props, man. You came out and you gave a heck of a challenge, and you might have come out on top of this if not for Manny, but I don't know, man. This Rekha, she is a force to be reckoned with. Now, if Sergey wants to get his revenge, Lucas, I have this thought. We understand Sergey has this infatuation, if you will, with a certain Lochette that we saw earlier tonight. And I can't think of a better match in my mind than Manny and Rekha versus Sergey and Midnight.
That would be amazing. The problem is Sergey would be all for it. How in the hell would he talk Midnight into that? That's what I want to know.
I think he needs to go to Bud for that. I don't know if Bud makes any decisions, but
well, and Bud's a businessman now. Bud is all about the business. So Sergey would have to come up with some dough, I think, to make that match happen. So I don't know that we'll get to see that match, but I'm liking the idea. Maybe I can pitch that to President Dean. But that would be amazing.
All right, Sergey with the victory over Rekha Tahaka.
Via DQ, but he got a
Hey, a win's a win.
It is.
Here at Rocky Mountain Pro, it doesn't.
It's a charged win.
A win column. You get the same check for whether it's a disqualification, a count out, a pinfall. You get the winner's money there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Coastal.
Yes.
Why don't you lead this discussion off? And what we saw with Lilith and the therapist.
Yeah,
I think he's a therapist.
Yeah, okay, so you're starting to get where I'm going here. Johnny and I talked about this. No. Now, we've only seen a few therapists on Rocky Mountain Pro.
Literally plays like a Tales of
And what can we connect the dots on all of these therapists on? They all hang out with Salem. So I already have some weird thoughts about this.
Well, we don't know.
Therapist.
We don't know yet.
I know, but this is let's put Coastal's tinfoil lighthouse on his head. And that's exactly what it is. And I just have this horrible feeling what happened.
Coastal, hold on one second. Lucas, I'm hearing like a TV in the background.
Okay.
Coming from your end. Go ahead, Coastal. Yep.
We're good, guys.
So, no worries. So this is I just have this awful feeling that Lilith is in this therapy session, but honestly, every time I've seen a Rocky Mountain Pro superstar go to therapy, it has something to do with Salem. And with what happened the week before, with the mask that we thought was gone, and Lilith's episode, and this dude, most therapists in my mind would seem very concerned with somebody having an episode like that. And this guy just seems to be like, okay, that happened. Why do you think it happened? Why do you think this? And I'm like, this dude is way too calm for what's going on in my mind. It really is. Lucas, I mean, does this seem weird to you?
Yeah, there's something fishy.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this therapist is. You're right. Maybe he's acting on behalf of Salem. Maybe there's some cahoots there, or he's acting on his own behalf and trying to get something else out of Lilith Grimm for whatever reason. I don't know. But it could be. Why in the hell would you try to bring up Lilith's past and try to kind of bring up things that she's been trying to bury, and she's been better for it. I believe her career has really skyrocketed since kind of making this change. And trying to kind of bring out some old stuff kind of doesn't make sense to me from just a human standpoint. Why? If you've got stuff that you've been trying to improve on in your life, Coastal, why in the hell would you go to a therapist and have them try to bring that old past back? That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. If you're trying to defeat demons you had in the past, why bring those demons back up? And also with that, I go back to the statement. If you're going to a therapist, wouldn't you be concerned if they were not concerned that you had a psychotic episode in their office? Like, that is just what sticks out the most to me, is just this dude's just like, yeah, that's unfortunate that happened. Dude, it happened in your office, man.
I find it very weird how now we're starting to see Lilith's past again with a symbolic mask that showed up a couple weeks ago during that last therapist appointment. It does bring a lot of questions, that's for sure. Where this goes, only time will tell. But clearly, there's a lot going on in the mind of the Warhammer Lilith Grimm right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to figure out. There's a lot of questions in the air on that. Well, let's move on here, because we have a main event with implications that were very shocking and surprising.
Mm-hmm.
We had Bruce Wayans, your former Rocky Mountain Pro heavyweight champion, going up against Jack Draper. And before this match began, Bruce Wayans came out and made a statement that if he doesn't win this match, he's gone. The guy that built Rocky Mountain Pro, well, one of the big pieces of Rocky Mountain Pro today, said he was going to walk out. And it turns out that comment came to fruition with Bruce Wayans losing this match, assuming he's gone. He's all done. What do you guys think?
I'll tell you what, Johnny, this was an interesting match for a whole lot of reasons. This, to my opinion, in the Coastal Crusaders' humble opinion, this is Bruce Wayans absolutely hitting rock bottom and in absolute desperation mode. He cannot figure out a way to get out of this losing funk that he has been in since he lost to David Drake at Shocktober. Yeah, Shocktober, I'm sorry. And then up at like 2 weeks before that, the Mind Games. He has not been the same since the Mind Games started. And now he's grasping and he's desperate. And we see it all through this match. Now, this match starts after we get a message from Bruce Wayans about what is on the line. and how he is going to defend the house he built, in his opinion, rather than Dak Draper. And for the most unfortunate reasons I can ever think of in my life, our ears are utterly abused because Karen Curtis Cole has to come out. And he's not Killer Curtis Cole. He is Karen Curtis Cole. All he does, and when you hear it, I know a lot of people thought that their TVs were broken and all they heard was like a NASCAR race and squealing, whining tires. No, that's just Curtis Cole talking in the microphone because he sounds like he's whining 24/7. So he, unfortunately, is on commentary for this match, but we see a really good match. We see a very frustrated Bruce Wayans go against a very up-to-the-task Dak Draper. And we see it a lot. We see Bruce, he hits a second rope, superstar elbow. He goes back up. He tries to go again. Instead of going for a pin, he tries to go again. He is really just frustrated, I feel. He misses. He gets to the outside. He grabs a bat. When was the last time we saw the good guy, the final boss, the leader of the Rocky Mountain Faithful, somebody who was supported, young, old, man, woman, everybody supported Bruce Wayans. And now he's got a bat. And he takes a giant swing at Dak Draper. And you can see Dak, he's even surprised by this. Absolutely surprised.
I don't think we've seen Bruce, unless it was a no disqualification match,
Yeah.
actually use his bat.
Exactly. I was shocked by this. What shocked me even more, though, is the fact that we see in a few minutes after that, Dak Draper hit a sit-out powerbomb and get a 1-2-3. Bruce Wayans, Lucas, is gone. He's leaving. He lost.
Yes, I'm actually still in shock. I've over the past couple years have gotten to be really close with Bruce Wayans, and he's very important to the Rocky Mountain Pro locker room. He brings a certain energy, a certain he's such a good guy to be around. He kind of lifts your spirits when he's around, makes you smile, makes you laugh. And to think that he won't be around anymore is very sobering. I'm honestly still trying to process it. Bruce Wayne's really for the past couple years has been Rocky Mountain Pro. We've had a lot of guys who have kind of stepped up into the role of leadership and being the heart and soul over the history of the company. Bruce Waynes has done that over the last couple of years. He really has been the heart and soul of Rocky Mountain Pro. And to watch him struggle like he has been with this losing streak and just kind of not being there mentally the way I knew Bruce Waynes, it's been very hard to watch. And now I won't even be able to see that. It's going to be very hard. I'm still kind of processing it, and I'm hoping that I get a chance to talk to Bruce and see Bruce before he completely leaves. Hopefully he'll have a chance to address the RMP faithful, because they have supported him immensely during his title reign and during this past year. So he's one of the favorites in Rocky Mountain Pro. So it's just very, very hard to see that he's gone. But and Dak Draper, it had to have been hard for a guy like Dak Draper. Dak Draper is not here to get rid of guys, but Bruce Wayne's put his career on the line.
He
Dak
called him out.
is made that. Yeah, Dak's supposed to be winning matches. That's what he came here for. Came back. We also really didn't talk also too much about, why Curtis was out there. Obviously, he's got issues with Dak Draper. He's another one.
Match.
You talked about him being a Karen. He wants to talk to the manager about why Dak is able to, come back to Rocky Mountain Pro and be able to sit in his chair. He's just so. He's so whiny about everything. I can't stand him.
I'll tell you what, Lucas, because you were ringside, D'Lo, Danger Dean, you all need to have some blood pressure monitoring because Curtis Cole is so salty about everything. He had to have raised people's blood pressures as soon as he came out. What I don't understand about him is he gets involved after the match in something that had nothing to do with him. This man is such an egomaniac. He cannot fathom the fact he cannot be seen on Charged for a week. He has to come out and be on commentary. And then he has to get himself involved after the match and sucker punch Dak Draper and then pull out brass knucks. Like, dude, you are not a tough guy.
Which
you
is
are
why
really not.
Which is why it's surprising that this is all transpiring now, because a few weeks back, Curtis Cole beat Dax Draper in the Aces Wild tournament to move on to the finals. So this doesn't make sense. That doesn't matter. It's a win.
Did he?
It's a win.
Yeah, he got the win. Whether
Yeah.
the ref didn't see it, which that's a lot of guys.
Unconscious. He might have been unconscious when he got his hands raised, but we'll negate that fact.
Still, if you had more of an issue, you probably would have solved it in that match. You would think.
Yeah, well, if a Curtis Cole is unconscious when he wins, does it make a sound?
I'm just stating the fact that, Curtis Cole really shouldn't have a reason
Curtis Cole has a
to
reason
be on
that
Dax Draper.
Curtis Cole is the man walking through town with a bucket full of gold, complaining his bucket is the wrong color. He is the woman walking with a honey-baked ham, complaining he has no bread. He will find something to complain about in the best of situations.
That's absolutely true. I've been putting Curtis Cole over since the beginning of his career, and he wants to talk about how I'm not even worthy of talking about pro wrestling because I'm not an athlete and this and that. I have called most of every major match that's happened in this company, for the most part, and I've called his matches. I've called his very first pro wrestling match. I've called his first milestone match where he won the Charged Championship. I called the match where he won the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship, where he didn't even think he was going to be in that match that night. And I was happy for him every single time I put him over. I cheered for him at commentary, and for him to be such a jerk about everything, and then now to basically act like, oh, we were never. I've never been nice to him, and I was never a good friend. He's such an idiot. I don't know what happened.
He is an ungrateful person, is what he is. He's ungrateful for the things that he has.
That is true. That's who he's turned to be. Again,
He's just salty. He is the most salty person.
Again, we'll see what happens in weeks to come, because that's going to be another story to keep our eyes on as we get close to Never Broken, of course. That whole situation.
We really have to let Curtis Cole on TV more?
Yeah.
I suppose everybody needs a bathroom break.
Ooh. Just firing at the hip tonight.
Not true. I mean, it's not false. I know I go to the bathroom to throw up when Curtis Cole comes on TV.
Didn't do it tonight.
I mean, his tape.
All right. Move on after the main event. What happened at the end of Charge last week carried over into tonight. Sledge, throughout the course of the night, was trying to find Drake. Couldn't find him. At the end of the show, he finds him outside and jumps Drake. And quite honestly, rightfully so. Especially what happened to him last week. And Drake gets a little bit of an ass whooping. Not gonna lie. Sorry. But he came back. He was able to get his wits about him. Knocks Sledge off his tracks. Beats on him a little bit. And then Drake again with that pipe. Now, we didn't see exactly what happened last week with the pipe. We can only assume that he struck him. He definitely struck him tonight. And multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Where is this situation going to go? Lucas, do you have any word on Sledge's condition after that? Because he was knocked out.
Sledge is nursing some injuries. They did some X-rays. He doesn't have any broken bones, but there's been some damage done. Don't really know if he's very upset, so he's not really want to talk about it. But we do know there has been some injuries that might keep him sidelined for a week or two, is what I'm hearing. But I think more than anything, he is just angry. You know, Sledge has really tried to change his life. You know, he's tried to really kind of live his life in a way that he hasn't done before. He's changed his mindset. He's trying to be a more forgiving person, a more a person who's kind of doing the right things. Drake is making that really hard with what he's been doing over the past couple weeks to Sledge. I'm worried to see what kind of person Sledge is going to turn back into with what Drake is doing. It could get very, very ugly, guys.
No, I think every time that Drake strikes Sledge with that pipe, it is fueling Sledge just further and further. Sledge is a man that I don't think you should push too very far, because what you're going to get is a nuclear bomb. Because he is one of those people where if you're going to send him to the hospital, you're going with him, laying next to him, and he's still fighting you on a gurney.
But how many times is he going to get hit with a pipe?
Exactly. Like, he's getting hit.
Sledge can't.
Yeah. He's getting hit with pipe, and he's getting back up and coming and coming. And I'll tell you what, I think Dave Drake's getting frustrated. I think this man is like, what do I do to kill him? Most of the time, it's us saying, what do we do to get rid of David Drake? And now he's met his match. This is Freddy versus Jason, Michael Myers versus Jason. Like, this is two absolute monsters going against each other.
Yeah, I'm very scared, guys, to be walking around that locker room and walking around backstage with those two. I'll be honest with you. I'm worried about what will happen. Drake is unstable. Sledge, we know that at times he could be unstable. I'm worried about my own safety and the safety of others. Of what's been going on. I really am.
Any more thoughts on that situation?
I definitely do not think Sledge is done. He's just going to keep coming.
If Drake keeps on getting the upper hand, man.
I think you have to put Sledge in the ground to stop him.
He might do that. Drake
we
might
do
that.
Easton.
Perfect example. You don't know what Drake. You think we know what he's capable of until he does something else.
Nobody knows.
And then he does something else. Now he's just an unpredictable maniac. Case in point, what happened tonight. I thought Sledge was going to get the best of him. Nope, we were wrong. So, obviously more to come as the weeks continue and as you push towards Never Broken. Final thoughts on Charged tonight?
Every Charged since Aces Wild has been better than the last. I know we've only had two so far, but they just keep building and they just keep leaving on these things where you have to watch next week to see what is going to happen. I want to know what is going on with Sledge and David Drake. I need to know what is going on in the Lockets division. I have to know what's going on with Lilith. Like, there are so many questions right now with this roster in the divisions. Who is going to be our tag team number one contenders? What tag team's not going to be around anymore? Lucas, there are so many unanswered questions right now. You have to just keep watching Charged.
Yes. You're right. There's so much that hasn't been clarified yet. Even with that tag team thing, we still have got questions like, what kind of matches are they going to be from now on? Are they going to just be traditional tag team matches? We've got, you said, the Lockheads division. We know that Remy D is going to be on the on Charge next week, so we're going to see the Charge champion, and to see what's next for the Charge champion. There's a lot going on. It has really been can't miss episodes for the last 2 weeks. It's going to be, I think, even more exciting going on as we get closer to Never Broken.
All right. And that is going to conclude our review of Charged this week. Few things to go over. Obviously, guys, don't forget this Thursday night, 6:15 Mountain Standard Time, you will have Ignition live with Lucas Bradwell as one of the commentators. And right after Ignition, on the top of the hour at 10 p.m., no, that's 10 p.m. our time, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, you will get the Dudes and Belts Reignited post show, just like we're doing here with Recharge, on the top of the hour, giving you up-to-date point standings and analysis of that evening. Now, I did have a small announcement that I think is going to be a very good announcement. The Rocky Mountain Pro YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, officially has a join button. And what that means is anytime you want, doesn't have to be a live stream. It can be on any video. It can even be at the top of the homepage when you just visit the channel. There is a join button that you guys now have access to. Rocky Mountain Pro is going to be set up exactly like Twitch with a couple differences. The first thing is it's a tier membership, just like subscribers over on Twitch. Everybody who's on Twitch right now who has the symbol, you guys already know kind of how this works. But YouTube's a little bit different in a sense. So you'll be paying a monthly subscription to be a member of Rocky Mountain Pro. With that subscription on YouTube specifically, you will have priority chat with the Ignition commentators, Lucas Bradwell and whoever. You will also have, with that membership, priority chat for the Dudes and Belts Q&A sessions that we're going to be doing starting next week, which will be like the last 10 minutes of the show. So, example, we're done talking about Charge tonight. We'll have a 10 to 15 minute max session of Q&As when you can ask everybody on the panel a question, whether it's about Charge or us or whatever. All for the members. Also, with that membership over on YouTube, you will have exclusive access to members-only live streams once a month. And in that live streams will be somebody from Rocky Mountain Pro talent that you can exclusively talk to. That is going to be the YouTube membership. So if you don't want to be a member on the channel, that's not a big deal. You can still interact and chat and stuff like that. The only times you can't interact is with the commentators, the Q&A portion of the dudes, or the members' exclusive live streams with Rocky Mountain Pro talent.
I put the link right in chat, so click on that and you can go over and join.
It started out
on Twitch. It's on Twitch.
Yeah, it started out because you're not a mod. Only mods can do
Oh, well.
the links. So
It might have been there.
And look at that. We have our first Rocky Mountain Pro member, just your average Jen. It's $4.99. It's basically the exact same thing as a subscription on Twitch. So there's no change in price there on YouTube. You do get a loyalty badge that will pop up in YouTube chat, which Jen now has the Rocky Mountain logo. You do have access to 4 emotes, which, again, the exact same thing as Twitch. The more members we get, the more slots we unlock. There's only 4 emotes right now. And Brian, there you go. Coastal became a supporter just like that. And Just Your Average Jen now has access to priority chat and exclusive membership streams. So that's kind of how Rocky Mountain Pro is going to be running the perks. Now, there is going to be more perks down the line, more expensive tiers. But if you get the expensive tiers, you also get these tier 1 perks as well. So everything just basically kind of carries over up until that tier. So if you get a tier 2 subscription, let's say, when it comes out, you will have all the tier 1 perks along with the tier 2 perk. So you're not paying 2 different prices. It's just one flat price. I hope I explained it somewhat well, because this is the first time that we've kind of toyed around with the membership portion of YouTube. So once we get a little bit more acquainted with it, we'll let you guys know more details about it. But as of right now, there's only 1 perk on the memberships, and that's what you're going to get. And we have Ned, Niederlander Jr. just became a Rocky Mountain Pro supporter. Thank you very much, Ned. Thank you for everybody who has become a member so far tonight. Greatly appreciate you guys. You guys now have all the perks for every month, and it's a reoccurring monthly subscription, and we'll be able to know whether you're a member or not because of that loyalty badge. So you can't fool us. So that was a big reason why I made sure I had the badge there. But yeah, so you get all the perks, and everything's good to go. Final thoughts before we get ready to sign off?
Rocky Mountain Pro gets better and better and better every week. Every time you tune in, you are going to see something amazing. And this charge just showed it. It left us on a cliffhanger that you got to tune in next week to see how Sledge is.
We have Echo.
I want to know.
I'm sorry. Echo just became a supporter as well.
Look at that. You're supporters with the Rocky Mountain Pro Stars. So you join YouTube and you get to chat, and you are joining a channel with the actual wrestler.
Also, you can gift memberships, just like on Twitch. Mm-hmm. If you're feeling charitable and you want to help somebody say we have Remy D on for a exclusive membership stream, and you know somebody that wants to be a part of that stream, but maybe that person can't afford it. We now have the gifting portion. I don't know exactly where it is in the chat. It might be in the plus side symbol. I don't know. But you can actually gift that person a membership. You can actually gift up to like 20, I think, or something like that. So it's almost exactly like Twitch, just with a couple differences. But yeah, thank you for all the new members. Greatly appreciate all you guys. And I don't know if Lucas, did you say anything?
No.
Okay.
I was just letting you talk about the perks. So I'm excited that, you're going to get a lot of the same perks that we had over on Twitch. You're going to now be able to kind of do the same thing that you did for Ignition. So now you can still talk to me. Just hit that join button, and we can have some fun on Thursday nights.
And also for the members of Twitch, we did not forget about you. Your subscription, because it's the exact same price as YouTube, we're going to work everything out so that you guys can get involved in the perks as well, because you guys are also paying subscribers over on Twitch. We're not going to leave you guys out. You guys are going to be a part of this as well. So don't worry. We did not forget about you guys on Twitch. We're just going to have to find a way to merge everything. That's all.
Johnny, I did figure out how to gift on YouTube. I just figured it out.
Did you?
Yeah, so if you look under your chat bar, there's a little dollar icon. It looks like a dollar bill. If you click that, it'll show up membership gifting. And you can gift memberships all the way up from 1 to 50.
Oh, it goes up to 50.
It goes up to 50. So
I didn't know that.
You can gift memberships all the way up from 1 to 50.
Actually, as a matter of fact, Echo just gifted one Rocky Mountain Pro membership to somebody. It doesn't say who.
Very cool.
Echo found it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right, so that's all set, ready to go. It's working. All right. I guess that wraps everything up. Phone's going off over there. So we are going to raid everybody on Twitch over to somebody. As for YouTube, we are going to cut everything off now with you guys. Thank you so much for watching over on YouTube. We greatly appreciate you guys watching and tuning in. As always, folks, for myself, Johnny Deathdrop, Coastal Crusader, and Lucas Bradwell, thank you so much. We will see you on Thursday for another episode of Ignition and Reignited over on YouTube. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy,